Ockwell-Smith. Welcome to this week's SOS Parenting video. Today I want to ask you a question. Is a good child, an obedient child, a compliant child really a good thing? So in our society we think it is. You know, what we really want is that easy, well-behaved child, the child who always does as we ask them to, who always listens to us, who doesn't backchat, who's, you need to get out in the morning and they just do everything that you want them to do, and it's nice and easy. They're very good, very well-behaved. So I know the desire for one of those children. I'm a mum of four, but it's not a great thing. Why is it not a great thing? Because a child who is constantly good, a child who is constantly obedient and compliant and does what every adult wants of them, is a child who is masking, is a child who is not living authentically, is a child who is afraid to express and feel their emotions, a child who may well bow to peer pressure as they get older because they've never been able to say no to somebody in a safe setting. They've never been able to voice their concerns and their disagreements. They've never been able to say, I don't like that and I don't want to do that. So although it's really tricky to raise children who have a voice, who are ambitious, I guess, in wanting to push to get their own way, that's really, really hard as a parent. But when they're older, that's really what you want. So a lot of people, parents of girls, will say to me, my girl is so bossy, how do I stop her being so bossy? And I say, what, do you mean she's assertive? You mean she knows her own mind? You mean she's not afraid to stand up for herself? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. And then I say, well, how would you like her to be when she's in her 20s, particularly when she's working and she's got a boss who's not very nice, or some person's taking advantage of her? Would you like her to be assertive and to stand up for herself and say, no, stop, I don't like that? If you do, then you need to nurture those same qualities today. And that may not be what we call a stereotypical good girl, but it's far healthier for her. And it's not just a girl thing either. Boys, very important, particularly with peer pressure in the teen years. What we really need is to be able to nurture their ability to say no, stop, I don't like that, I'm not doing that. And as difficult as it is for us as parents today, the importance of raising a child who is not afraid to have a voice, who is confident enough to use it, who is confident enough to say, I'm not really seeing things that way. This is how I feel. I don't like what you're saying. And who can call us on things that we do and say that are wrong and unjust, because just because we're an adult doesn't mean that we're right all of the time. Very often we're not. And it's important that they have a voice there. And also those children who have big emotions, that they're very angry a lot and they show their anger, or they're sad a lot and they show it, or their frustration and they will slam a door or so forth. Although that's difficult for us today, it's much healthier for them that they are able to have those emotions and show those emotions than to bottle them all up. Particularly when we're talking about the teen years, what we really want to raise is a teen who's able to have the feelings, show the feelings, not bottle them up and internalize them in some sort of self-harm behavior or externalize in some sort of violent behavior. We want to have those feelings and we want them to feel safe to be them, to let them out amongst us. And unfortunately, all of that does not create a good, compliant, quiet, obedient child. But it does create a happy, emotionally healthy child. And I think really underneath it all, I know as a parent we want things to be easy, but if I could say you could have an easy child who may well struggle with masking and inauthenticity in the future and bow to peer pressure, or you can have a child who is more difficult today, but way more healthier emotionally in the future, which one would you